A song begins with one person. That seems simple enough. But in this kind of song, the other voices are already waiting. They answer, repeat, shape, and sometimes correct. What starts as singing can sound like memory or surveillance. It has power, magic, wisdom, conscience, judgment. That is the tension inside an old Estonian runic song called mina hakkan laulemaie. In plain English, that means, when I begin to sing. Its form is more than 1,000 years old, and it already understands a modern problem. The moment you open your mouth, the community is there to decide what your voice means. This is how it sounded for centuries. What you hear first is not development in the modern sense. It is insistence. The melody does not rush to go somewhere else. It circles, leans, returns. In runic songs, repetition is not a lack of invention. It is the mechanism that lets memory hold. The line lodges because it comes back wearing almost the same face. Regilaul belongs to a much wider runosong world. Estonia is one branch, not a sealed box. Across the Gulf of Finland, Finnish and Karelian runosong keep the same old meter logic close to speech and chant. In southeastern Estonia, Seto leelo preserves a more overtly polyphonic version of the same lead and chorus instinct. Further south, Lithuanian sutartinės are not the same tradition, but they are close cousins. Tight, repetitive multi-part songs built from short melodic cells and refrains that can sound almost trance-like. In Estonia, this material became especially charged in the 19th century. The work of folklore collectors fed the national awakening, the same broader movement that helped make songs central to Estonian public identity. The first nationwide song celebration was held in Tartu in 1869. So the old village song and the modern mass choir did not come from nowhere near each other. They are historically entangled. Today's song is self-referential, but not in a clever modern way. It is not winking at itself. It is naming a social truth. Singing gathers people. It creates attention. It creates reputation. It makes people ask where a voice comes from and to whom it belongs. Meaning also sits in rhythm, recurrence, and the feeling of being carried by a pattern older than the individual singer. Once you hear that, the later versions make more sense. In the Estonian Voices version, the song sounds unmistakably modern, but the old structure still holds. The blend is smoother, the surface more polished, yet the repetition still does the same work. It gathers attention, holds the line, and lets it return slightly changed. In the jazz version, the melody opens outward. It gains color, phrasing, and a different kind of freedom, but the old circular motion is still there underneath. The song bends without breaking. On accordion, without words at all, you can hear how much of the song lives in contour and recurrence. It does not need the full text to remain recognizable. The form itself carries memory. And in pop form, the song proves again how portable it is. It can survive arrangement, amplification, and a more modern groove because its core idea is so stable. The hook was already there. Popular music just gives it another set of clothes. Old songs are not meant to stay locked in archives. For decades, Estonian musicians have been folding older national material into newer forms, including folk rock and metal. Not always with strict historical fidelity, and not always with the same intention, but with a clear sense that the old material is still available for use. One early folk rock example is Ort. The runic inheritance stays close enough to be heard. The old meters and melodic habits are not just quoted, they are activated. A more recent and heavier example is Metsatul. The old songs become raw material for force, identity, atmosphere, even defiance. What matters is that the tradition does not sit still. It keeps entering the present. And that brings us to our version. We translated it loosely. We added some instruments. We had some fun with it. Hopefully, we also did it justice. This is When I Begin to Speak Again.
Speak again, my dear. You begin to speak again, my words, my dear, chosen, my dear. 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 They don't wait for me to finish, my dear. They don't wait for you to finish, my dear. They decide what I should mean, my dear. They decide what you should mean, my dear. Where did she learn to talk like this? Someone taught her how to sound right. I was shaped in the lowlands, quietly the highlands told me what to carry home.